Hello, it is Tuesday. Welcome back. I've had kind of a little break from Tuesday videos for a moment. Before I get into the video, look at my socks. Mom, you'd love these. Oh wait, I can't see if you can see them in the camera. They have little lobsters and they're like bedazzled. Okay, so first of all, I realized me and this bunny match right now, today. Isn't that crazy? Okay, so, I don't know why I'm talking so fast. I think I'm just excited to be doing a Tuesday video because I haven't done a Tuesday video and it feels like 500 years. Is this my first video back? Is this my first video back from last season? Because I posted my I moved, hang on, I need to see this before I actually get into today's video. Okay, Skamy's Coast. Hi, Breezy. Yeah, because I posted my moving video and then you posted the season finale video and then you posted on August 21st, and now this is technically my first video of season 2. Oh boy. And I apologize for that sound, but I fear there's nothing I can do. This does feel like the first video of a new season because technically, my opener when I was thinking about, oh gosh, how do I start this video? It's been so long since I've done a Tuesday video, I'm out of practice. I was thinking, technically there's so many things I can make a video on, life-wise. It really is a season 2, just because in the time and space between my last video, I wrapped up my internship that was so awesome. I went to Munich, I went to Germany on a big trip, and then we went to Martha's Vineyard on a little trip, and it rained the whole time, and then I was getting ready for classes, and then now I've actually officially started my classes. I've been doing readings, and so between it's just crazy because I finished my job, I went on a big trip, and then I went on a little trip and reunited with everybody who I had been in school with for the last year after not seeing them all summer, and then I started doing readings back in class. It really feels like a great video to do a season 2 opener, which I guess makes perfect sense since we started in August. We started on Sense8 Day on August 8th. Oh my gosh, this video, oh my gosh, you requested that I react to the video. Okay, I fear I'm not gonna have time to do that today, but I thought that would be really funny too, to do a video within a video thing, and the way that you described it reminded me of the Billie Eilish video. I don't know if you've ever watched it, but I don't think it's every year anymore, but for the longest time, every year she would do a video where they would ask her the same questions or revisit similar questions. I think it's a Vogue interview. Is it Vogue? I don't know. But it's the main Billie Eilish interview, but it's the same one every year. And I've watched that video since it, since the very first one came out. And I love revisiting it. So I definitely will circle back to the original first videos, but I just today, since in between classes, I didn't pre-plan for this. That's how you know it's the start of the season, because I'm back to not pre-planning for this. I'm squeezing it in on my lunch break. And with that being said, let's get into today's video, because I already explained I have all this other crazy life stuff that I could talk about, but I've decided that I'm going to talk about Hadestown, because I feel like before I finished my job, and before I went on my trip, and before I saw my friends again, and before I went back to school, we need to go back to Hadestown, because I saw Hadestown and then I went and saw Hadestown again. I don't know if I told you that. I saw Hadestown twice in theaters, and then I never really fully talked about it. I tried to, but it's just so difficult to remember everything, and so it just we need to go back, because before all of these new season 2 life developments, there was Hadestown watching in the movie theaters, and that was life-changing. The first time I went to see it, I actually went with Sarah, and the second time was when I was dog sitting, and I went, I don't know, it was a matinee showing on the weekend or something, and got a really good deal. and I think it was like $7, $9, I don't know. But I took notes like right after, that way I could remember and do this video. But this was before like season 2 of law school started, and so now I'm gonna go through these notes. Also, my camera literally has 1 bar of battery. I charged it a little bit before, so if it dies, I'm really sorry. This is just gonna be the video. Just in case it dies, Breezy, I will see you on Friday. Hadestown notes. Okay, so this was like me taking notes on things that just like, not everything because obviously I could not, but it just things that made me feel particularly whoa. One of the absolute craziest and worst parts of watching the movie is when Eurydice sings and chimes in with the kind of makes you wait, what song is it from? I should have written down what songs this stuff is from, but when Eurydice is like, kind of makes you wonder how it feels, and it like the spotlight kind of shifts to her. The look on Persephone's face, is that in Chant? No. Before? I don't know. I can't remember right now. But the look on Persephone's face when Eurydice sings that, it's just, I've thought about before and talked about how I feel like Persephone is just really the core of this crazy, just such an emotional story, and just actually finally seeing her expressions throughout the tale for the first time, like for real, because like I watched a slime tutorial years ago at this point, and that was the only time. Every other time I've listened to the story, it's been through the soundtrack, and so now actually watching it was just a completely different experience. But Persephone's expression when Eurydice sings that line, it's just such a punch to the gut. The next thing is during Chant, the Fates are up on the balcony, and it's just like, I mentioned it I think in one of the last videos that I just need to, or maybe it was a voicemail, I don't know, I know I said to you at some point, I need to just do, like, we need to just be locked in a room and have a conversation about where the Fates are at every given moment during this pro shoot, because it's just enough to make your head spin. But then during Chant, when the Fates come down, like during the trombone, and they come down just to laugh, like the Fates were so nasty, but even when they do that, they're still elevated. And then after that, there's a part where like Eurydice kind of gets spun into Hades, and it's like the wind and the Fates pushing her into him, and like just that entire staging was crazy. And as you go through Chant, just like the progression and the development of Persephone's facial expressions more and more and more, it was just so crazy. Like the actress who plays Persephone, she's just not only phenomenal. Oh my god, I think my camera's about to like die. The actress who plays Persephone is not only just like absolutely phenomenal in like singing and dancing, but just like the expressions on her face, she completely stole the show for me with every look, especially all of her looks towards Eurydice. Also, for some reason, I had never realized that Wait For Me isn't the end of the first act. It's Why We Build the Wall, and then that is the end of the first act, which is such a crazy thing. Like, I can't believe, because this was written in the 2000s, and so I just can't believe, like, that song was written so long ago, because it's just something that's become more and more pertinent as, like, time and, like, life in this country has developed, and so it's just kind of a crazy song to be written so early. But also, I think, because it's Why We Build the Wall, and then it goes to the break, and not only is that genius, because that's when Persephone is like, anybody want a drink? At the end, and it's like the perfect lead into intermission line, because everybody goes to get drinks. But then, when the next song starts, and she's like, but there's a crack in the wall, and that's when the music starts getting louder, and saxophones are getting louder, the music starts getting louder and everything, and like they're like Orpheus is getting into Hadestown and whatnot. It's so genius, and it's so fun, and like I knew this, but it's so fun to watch, because that's when she's doing the introduction and, you know, like honoring and introducing all of the band, and like there's a crack in the wall. It's a literal crack in the fourth wall, because like the story is still going on and the song is moving the story along, but the song is also a point to introduce the band, and like they're real people, and it's such a fun fourth wall moment. There's several fourth wall moments in this musical, but that one in particular, watching it instead of listening to it was just so fun. Um, I never realized that the Fates end up holding Orpheus's lyre. I think that's an absolutely insane detail. Um, from what I remember and what I wrote, the Fates were nowhere to be seen during Is It True, which I think is super monumental just because, like, that's like one of the, I don't want to say most hopeful songs, but it's a song where I feel like if there's any song where you think it might turn out different this time, it's If It's True. And for the Fates to not be present during any of that, I think is really symbolic from a like hope perspective, or like maybe the wind will change this time. And then during the chant reprise, the Fates are up on the balcony, but then it switches when Hades is finally on the balcony and he's like, I conduct the Electric City. And there's a few different times when it's like Hades and the Fates switching, and a lot of the time Hades ends up being above the Fates, like second, like he's in charge of like the fate and destiny of it in a sense, with height, and all of that is just crazy. At any given moment during that chant replies, the Fates are still elevated above everybody else. And then I think one of the craziest details of all that I had never really thought about it before because I had never watched it, but like the Fates hand Orpheus the lyre for Epic 3, which just, it's so simple, but it's so genius because of course, like they're because no matter that Orpheus has spent the entire musical working on this song, like the Fates are the one, they're writing his story and they're writing the music, and so they hand him the lyre before he writes Epic 3 and ends up writing the song that brings the world back into tune. Just like such a small detail, but it's like that is the thesis and the symbolic moment, I feel like, of the entire musical. I think it's absolutely crazy. And yeah, there was some filming. I didn't really put any other detail. I just wrote shadow, and I can like see it in my head, but I can't explain it. There's some like really fun shadowy filming in that like ending portion of the musical. Obviously, Hades turning right before Doubt comes on. Insane. I think I might have talked about that with you already, but I had heard that before, but it's something I hadn't really seen until then. And there's so many other times throughout the musical where like Eurydice turns to Hades or Hades turns to Eurydice, and just like a number of other variations. It's really, really wild. And then at the end of the musical, like I already mentioned, how Hades is often on top above the Fates. Like the Fates will be elevated and then it'll switch and it'll end with Hades being elevated. And Hades is on the balcony when they sing, we're gonna sing it again and again and again. And so even though like the Fates are handing Orpheus the lyre and ultimately in control of the story and like their destiny, like Hades still has that ultimate power, and he still has that ultimate power over Persephone. And when he calls her home, and even though like Hades Town is like, he reaches that highest point, and that like it's just really, really fascinating from like a power dynamics perspective, and the way this musical plays out and the way the songs and the story progresses to have like Hades up there in that final moment of like, we're gonna sing it again. And it's because of him that we're singing it again, because he is the one who gave Orpheus that impossible task, because he would turn around himself. And so I just talked super fast through all of that, but it's just so crazy. I can't. Yeah. So anyway, those are my main Hades Town thoughts. You haven't watched it yet. Honestly, at this point, I'm just gonna say it. After my thing is blinking. It's really about to go. After Orpheus is told that he can go, he just can't. He shakes Hades' hand. It's like the most insane, crazy performance-wise. Okay, my battery is flashing. I'm talking 500 miles a minute. I need to do reading, and then I have 2 more classes. But Breezy, I will see you on Friday. I love you so much. I hope you're having a wonderful week at UCF, and just remember that the only chemistry that matters is my chemical romance, and organic chemistry can be conquered by you with the power of MCR in your soul. I love you. Goodbye. Mwah!